Hello, Detective Boswick. I want to play a game. The 3 train is arriving in 2 minutes. It is up to you to decide if this will be your final stop. You have taken the witness stand many times and railroaded innocent people with your lies, putting them away in jail. Today, it is you who will be railroaded.
Hi, I'm Dom Griffin. I'm a film critic, and you're watching the Armchair Auteur. This is an ongoing video series I do where we talk about new movies, old movies, screenplay analysis, that sort of thing. So if you like movies and you like popular culture and you like to see somebody pick those things apart, please consider subscribing. So today I'm going to be reviewing Spiral from the Book of Saw, starring Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson, which opens this Friday in theaters only. A spoiler alert here, I liked it very much, and it happens to be the first press screening I've attended since seeing Bloodshot with Vin Diesel a year ago before quarantine hit. So I will keep this review spoiler free, but I do want people to understand that a lot of the positivity I'm going to be spewing about this movie is probably in some way spurred upon by the fact that I saw this in an actual movie theater. Not at home, not on my TV, not on my laptop, on a big screen. And I haven't done that in a while, so yeah. The Armchair Auteur channel is officially
back to the movies.
So before we talk about Spiral, we should probably talk about the franchise that birthed it, Saw. I first saw Saw when the original was released, and I liked the first film as an ingenious little film debut for James Wan, and liked the twist ending and the general vibe, even if I thought Cary Elwes's performance was downright criminally bad. And I never saw any of the ensuing sequels until years later, and I saw them out of order initially with missing spots, and found myself utterly fucking confused that they killed Jigsaw in the third one, and somehow were able to make 4 more movies anyway? But back in October, me and the boys did an entire episode of Late Fees about the Saw franchise, and I binged the entire thing from start to finish over the course of a day and a half, and I grew a deeper love for it. Basically, Saw at its core is a brilliant horror concept where a killer who has the psychological and moral profile of a Batman villain puts people into death traps where they either transform themselves and learn from their theoretical transgressions, or they die in as gruesome and convoluted a way as humanly possible. It's a great idea that the sequels repeatedly fuck up and overcomplicate with flashbacks, retcons, and exponentially less believable lore. As the films progress, it feels more and more like an unironic version of Robert Downey Jr.'s narration from Kiss Kiss Bang Bang in the worst way imaginable.
Okay, I was a bad narrator again, because the kid at the beginning was the magician, right? That was me. I don't want to put this on you, but some detectives, if you've been paying attention, I mean, I shouldn't have to... Great, no wonder. Hey, Mon Pa Kettle, I got an idea. Why not put these 2 lame-o extras in front of the mammoth fucking lens? Boo, scat, fat lady, leave.
When the Spirig brothers made Jigsaw, the last attempt to sort of kickstart a new path for the series, I thought the movie was a little smarter and more polished take on the material, but that, in addition to being largely a rehash of Saw 5, it didn't feel, for lack of a better descriptor, shitty enough to be a good Saw movie. The Saw movies need to be a little grimy and ugly and dirty and, like, they have to have unfortunate speed ramping and... Look, a good Saw movie should feel a little like a new metal music video. And the more it looks and feels like a real movie, the less I give a shit. My adoration for the Saw franchise is taking in the good with the bad. The more you have of one or the other, the less it all works. A good Saw movie should be a little bad and kind of dumb, which is why I love Spiral. The absolute best stuff in all of the Saw franchise is in Saw 6, when we see Jigsaw's ridiculous Rube Goldberg death traps implemented on a bunch of scummy fucks from the insurance industry. It's the movie that most understands that the victims in Saw need to be people we want to see have giant steampunk murder machines grafted to their flesh, or the whole thing falls apart. So while anyone who has seen the trailer for Spiral knows that this is tangentially related to the Saw movies, it keeps none of the other absurd lore, choosing instead to follow Chris Rock as a detective solving some Saw copycat murders. It just so happens that this new killer is exclusively targeting cops. And man, look. If you don't think a movie about a bunch of crooked cops waking up in comically torturous traps whose only hope for salvation involves repenting for this destructive behavior is the movie we all need in 2021, then you can turn this video off right now because it's not for you. Spiral is basically fucking perfect. It has all the Saw things I need from a Saw movie. Ugly, weird cinematography, awkward editing, questionable dialogue, a mixture of great and terrible performances, and the correct amount of sleaze. Fuck, they even keep the dumb mask, the voice changer, and the puppet, and they end up making the puppet more thematically relevant. I don't want to give away too many of the specifics or ruin it, especially considering this release is theatrical only, and I know not everyone is vaccinated or even living somewhere where theaters are fully open yet or what have you, but I will unequivocally say, if you are wondering if this is a movie that is worth going back to the movies for, it 100% fucking is. I thought I was just going to wait until Fast 9 dropped to make the trek back to the theater, but I just saw Spiral 2 hours ago, and I already want to see it again this weekend. Chris Rock is great, bringing the right mixture of comedy and gravitas to his role. Director Darren Lynn Bousman, who helmed Saws 2 through 4, brings back the necessary amount of Saw sheen to the product. And the screenwriters behind this, who had rewrites from Rock, are the same guys who penned Jigsaw, a Saw movie I still think is really good, but just wasn't dumb enough. And they learned their lesson. They made it precisely dumb enough to not ruin its cathartic, exploitative glee. Over the last year, I've had to watch and engage with a lot of media designed to reckon with police brutality and try to process a lot of genuine rage and frustration people feel. The powerlessness of this fundamentally fucked institution that people keep foolishly thinking can be improved with reform. So I cannot overstate how much of a rush it was to watch a 93-minute movie that posits a much simpler solution than defund the police. Just find the bad cops and give them the option to cut off their own tongues and recant their evil ways or get hit by a train. I will not pretend that Spiral is an incredibly deep or politically sound movie on this particular subject, or that some won't find it reductive in its own perverse form of propaganda. For sure, yeah, probably. I am more than prepared to hear those takes. But the way this film ends opens the door for the Saw franchise to take its rightful place as a pulpy avenue to exercise the anger we feel at our country's horrendous social conditions, better suited to properly fill that spot than the Purge films struggled to achieve over the course of their run. So for me, right now, in the midst of still feeling this glow, this post-theatrical experience dopamine rush, I think that I would watch 10 more Spirals before I ever sit through another American Skin. If we're gonna make gruesome, gritty, torture porn horror flicks, we should use them the way the best horror films have always been made, to explore things that we cannot necessarily grapple with in a prestige indie drama. I hope Spiral is a huge hit, so we can do Saw but with politicians, Saw but with billionaires, Saw but for people with really bad Twitter takes. We should be able to take this basic core concept and scale it outward into other exponentially more frustrating groups of people that we would like to see put into death traps. Why is that so hard? But yeah, obviously some of you may not enjoy Spiral, some of you may find this movie to be a little bit too on the nose, a little bit too lots of things, but for me, I loved it. I can't wait to see it again. I hope it's a huge hit. Thank you guys again for watching. Hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Hit the little thingy. It lets people know that you like my video. It helps out a lot. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. That also helps. Hit the little bell icon so you get notifications when I put out new videos. That helps. And if you have thoughts, or you want to argue with me or agree with me or just share dumb shit posts, I don't care. Anything that you want to comment, do it in the comments below. I love talking to you guys. It's one of my favorite things to do in the world. So thank you again for watching and supporting the channel. I hope you guys are able to go out and see Spiral. It's fantastic. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Be good to yourselves and each other. Wear your masks. Get vaccinated. Get back to the movies. I think this might be a pretty good summer. I'll see you guys in the next video.